This recipe is pretty easy and you can serve it with so many dishes.
Hi, I'm Shadi with Unicorns in the Kitchen, and let's make some tzatziki.
To make Greek tzatziki, we need a few ingredients. First of all, we're gonna need some yogurt. I like to use Greek yogurt, some salt, some fresh dill. You can also use dried dill, but fresh is always best. We also need some garlic. I usually use 2 to 5 garlic cloves depending on the size, some cucumbers. Persian cucumbers work best here. And finally, some lemon. We are going to drizzle our tzatziki with some extra virgin olive oil. Okay, I'm going to start with peeling my cucumbers in strips. Now, these cucumbers are washed and dried. It's best to dry your cucumbers. So you want to cut the head and cut the bottom, and then you're going to just peel like this. I like using Persian cucumber for this recipe because as you can see, the peel is not very thick and it doesn't have a lot of seeds in it. So basically your tzatziki is gonna taste better. And I like it because this cucumber, like Persian cucumbers are also known as mini cucumbers, are a bit crisper than the other cucumbers available at supermarkets. So I think like these would do so much better with Mediterranean or Persian recipes. Now, what's very interesting about tzatziki is that it's very similar to Turkish cacik, which is the same. It's basically cucumbers and yogurt, some garlic, and dill. It's quite similar. And then it's also very similar to Persian mastokhiyar. But for Persian mastokhiyar, which I'm going to show you later how to make it, it's basically less ingredients. It's basically must and khiyar, so it's yogurt and cucumbers. Sometimes we add mint, but that's basically it. It's a simpler dish, but just as delicious. Okay, so my cucumbers are ready, and now I'm going to grate them. You can also chop the cucumbers finely, but I prefer to grate them. What's important is that after you grate the cucumbers, you want to make sure that you squeeze out all the excess liquid so your tzatziki is not like very watery. I have all the cucumbers grated here. Now, as I told you, it's very important to make sure that you squeeze out all the excess liquid, because if not, your tzatziki is going to be very watery. As you can see, cucumber does have a lot of liquid. So here we are. I'm just gonna put this here. Make sure your hands are clean. Mine are. Just wash them, so no worries. You can probably use a cheesecloth for these too. I just didn't have one on hand right now, and I usually just use my hand, so that's how I'm doing it. That's how I roll. Just a little bit more. That's it. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a pretty dry cucumber, well, pilot cucumber I have. And here I have the excess liquid. I'm going to discard this, don't need this anymore. We're gonna clean this, and then we're gonna come and chop the dill. So I have some dill here now. I love using fresh dill. As I told you, dry dill would work too, but fresh is just always better. Just finely chop the dill, and be careful not to cut your hand and your fingers. This recipe is pretty easy and you can serve it with so many dishes. Chicken souvlaki is like one of my favorites, but you can serve it with any kind of kebabs, any kind of chicken dish or beef, even a steak. All of that would work. Now I'm going to put this in with the cucumbers, and then I'm going to move this aside, maybe do a little bit of cleaning. And now we're going to make the rest. Okay, so first I'm going to, I used the wrong one. Okay, here, I'm going to use 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to crush these. You can also do this by hand. I just find this a little easier and it's finer. Now the amount of garlic totally depends on you. I like a lot of garlic, so sometimes I go all the way to 5 if I have more yogurt. But you can even use 1 and it's gonna be just fine. As for the lemon, I just need a little bit, maybe about a tablespoon, so not even all of this. So I'm just gonna use just a little bit. That's enough. Yep, that's good. And last, I'm going to add some salt, and then finally the yogurt. Here's my salt, and always make sure to taste tzatziki before serving it, because you might need some salt again. And here's my yogurt. I'm not sure if I need all of it, so I'm just gonna go step by step. You might even need more yogurt. That like depends on the consistency of yogurt. You can use whole milk, you can use low fat, you can use non-fat. My preference is always whole milk. It just has better flavor and better consistency. I just love the creaminess of it. Okay, let me give this a nice stir. Yeah, I think this is looking really good. Look at that color. And the combination of cucumber and yogurt, this is such a classic combination in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. You can find dishes using these two ingredients in many different countries, and they all taste great. Okay, I'm going to let this sit in the fridge for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to plate and serve them. Tzatziki has been sitting in the fridge for about 30 minutes, and now we're ready to serve. This looks so good, and it would be a great side dish for barbecues and any kind of grilled meat. It's just gonna be so good. Now for the best part, some extra virgin olive oil on top. That looks good. And just a few sprigs of dill here. And I'm ready to dig in. All right, let's give this a try. I've got some nice pita in here. Let's see. Oh, I can't wait. It's so good. It's a little garlicky. And then the olive oil with the yogurt just pairs so well together. And then the combination all together with just a hint of garlic and a little salt makes just the perfect dish.